Hello, and welcome to another rainy night edition of Stray Thoughts. It's been on my mind that we often feel that things have gone wrong if they haven't turned out the way we had wanted. But there's a big difference between things turning out the way we want them to, and things being ultimately okay and possibly even better than we could have guessed. Because we don't know what we don't know, and I'm reminded so often that when I've thought that maybe this is the end of something, or this is a big loss, or this is a humiliation, or whatever it might be, I can't look back at those moments and not see how they ultimately led me to places I really needed to be, to learn lessons, develop skills, make connections that I couldn't have if things hadn't gone wrong, so to speak. And this goes back to me talking about taking the long view and zooming out and really trying to embrace disappointment as an opportunity, because again, it's so easy to say it's all fallen apart, this isn't what I wanted, how have I come here? But it's actually just as easy to shift perspective a little bit and say, this is exactly what needs to happen to bring me to the next place. This is what I need to catalyze change. Chris Williamson says something about getting stuck between things being good and terrible because they're just passable, and because they're just acceptable enough, we stay stuck in something that's not really truly enough, or what's actually meant for us, or it doesn't allow us to bring out what it is we really have within us, and that there is an advantage to things being worse in a sense. And so when it comes to these moments where I'm like, can it get any worse? Say, well, yes. First of all, yes. So get a little context. When you really put it all up on the big board, you look at it, so many things that could be worse. But more than that, it's saying, what about this turning the screws is going to get the response from me that's going to mobilize me to make change and move on and sort of reinvent where I'm headed and how I'm getting there, and even maybe who I am as I approach that. And in seeing these difficulties as a potential opportunity, again, there's an opportunity hidden in almost every experience if we look for it. And this isn't just Pollyanna optimism, like, oh, it'll be okay. This is really actively looking at a thing and saying, how have I come here? How have I gotten myself to this position? What is good about losing what I have? What does that loss create space for? What does this pain spur me to do that I might otherwise be complacent and end up with less than what I could achieve, accomplish, gather, have in my life in a general way? And so yeah, it just keeps coming back to me that it's important to remember the difference between things turning out the way we want and things being okay either way. And for me, being able to use that as sort of a first response reminder when I really do feel the wave breaking over me and I don't think I actually can handle it in the moment, I realize that the moment is key, because we only get so many moments in this life, and we all know intellectually that our time is limited and it's precious, but it's easy to forget that when we get caught up in the drama of a moment. And this little touchstone really helps keep me oriented and grounded and ready to move forward, because I know that it's the turnaround time makes all the difference. The sooner I get in the mindset of looking for the possibility in a thing and moving toward that, that's when all the fear, the doubt, and the paralysis just almost naturally begin to melt away, because I'm putting my focus where I can actually take action. And in being able to take action, I'm showing myself that I do have power in a situation that might otherwise make me feel quite powerless. And to be able to drop down into a very sober state and say, the work here is to find out how I can position myself and respond to what's happening suddenly, abruptly, shockingly, that I get my bearings and I take back that sense of control within myself. Though I can't control what's happening, I can control how I respond. And this helps to say, look, you can't go back, you can't change it. It is what it is, right? There's no getting in your time machine and doing it over. And there's no way of knowing where it leads, but there is a little space in between where I know I can position myself for the greatest advantage. And that might mean I have to trek across a lot of ground to get to where the payoff shows. But I know through experience that the payoff will be there, that in retrospect I can look back and say, even the worst moments of my life have brought out strength or clarity or skill or a sense of competence that I absolutely need in all areas of life, whether it's the good times or the bad. It happens today, I'm having a good day, and I don't really need to struggle with that. But I would not be having this day had I not had all these experiences. And if I'm able to appreciate what I have now, I need to have some gratitude for all the things that have brought me to this place. And being in a strange state of gratitude for even the really difficult things. And again, this is another reason why I say take nothing personally. It's if you sit there and you say, woe is me, why is this happening to me? You're wasting time, you're burning energy. And more than that, you're burning energy toward getting mired in this thing you can't control and enhancing that sense of powerlessness and overwhelm. Whereas if it turns to, where could this lead? What can I learn from this? What can I make of this moment? It just, in the moment, gives that relief and that clarity and that forward movement that spares us so much time. And I'm not saying, there aren't times where we have to sort of drop out and feel the thing and lick our wounds and get back up to speed. But to give that as little as is absolutely necessary, that we have the rest of our reserves for everything we can build from that, everything we can build on that. And it's a really more than just a shift of perspective. It's more than a nice to have philosophy. It really is sort of an emergency response protocol that I use through so many different struggles I've had in life. So many times that the unexpected came in and caught me off guard, as much as we try to be prepared. And I try to be prepared for as much as possible. But the greatest preparation is being limber and having the right mindset. And I just felt that highlighting this was worth a few minutes of the day to say it is about appreciating the difference between what we want and what is really maybe best for us. And even if it takes us through some dark passages along the way, it may be bringing us to better places. And it's most likely to bring us to those good places if we've got our bootstraps pulled up and our focus where it belongs. And so, yeah, just a quick one highlighting the difference between what we want and what we get, and how if we're grateful for any of it, then it's best to acknowledge and have appreciation for those more difficult times in life. Okay, well, as always, I hope this helps, and I appreciate you coming along, and I look forward to seeing you in the next installment. Until then, as always, I wish you all the best. Thanks so much again.